So we have some kind of exciting and unexpected news for all the WandaVision fans out there. Or if you remember back when WandaVision first aired, we were all speculating like crazy about one character in particular, Mephisto. Every theory seemed to point towards him in the scenes and pulling the strings, but it never happened. Well, guess what? Finally, in the latest episode of Agatha All Along, we finally get a nod at Mephisto, and it might be just the beginning of something huge for the MCU. So I'm going to dive into what happened, what it could mean, and why this could be setting up one of the most anticipated storylines in Marvel. So let's break this down. What exactly went down in the latest episode of Agatha All Along? There's a pivotal scene where Jennifer says to Joe Locke's character that Agatha gave up her baby for the Darkhold diary. If that wasn't intriguing enough, later in the episode, we see Agatha have a vision of the diary, and then we hear a baby crying from the stroller. The symbolism here is pretty powerful. It's like the diary itself is haunted by Agatha's sacrifice. Then Jennifer adds that no one really knows what happened to Agatha's baby. She says she might be dead, he could be a demon, or wait for it, he could be an agent of Mephisto. Now, I don't know about you, but hearing that name finally dropped in a Marvel show is huge, man. I think this is a huge Easter egg that is going to get everybody buzzing. After all the speculating during WandaVision, after all the theories, Wanda finally acknowledges Mephisto's potential existence in the MCU. It feels like they're teasing us, and it makes me wonder whether this is going to lead somewhere bigger. Could this be Marvel laying out groundwork for an eventual Mephisto appearance? Perhaps even in this series. So let's put this into perspective. The fact that Jennifer even mentioned Mephisto means that Marvel is at least aware of all the hype around his name. They know the fans wanted him in WandaVision, and maybe they're trying to give us a little taste to keep us engaged. But here's the thing. This doesn't really feel like fan service. There's a genuine connection between Agatha and Mephisto in the comics, and it would make perfect sense for her story to intertwine with his. If they're looking to explore his character more deeply, this would perfectly make sense. So, in the comics, Agatha has a significant history with Mephisto, and their connection is steeped in dark magic and manipulation. For those who may not know, Mephisto is essentially Marvel's equivalent of the devil. He's this incredibly powerful and cunning entity who thrives on chaos and deals. Considering that Agatha All Along is diving into Agatha's connection with the Darkhold, it wouldn't be a stretch to see Mephisto tied to the storyline. So Agatha is all about dark magic, and who better to fit in the narrative than Mephisto himself? I think Marvel might be setting up a much larger storyline here that could span multiple shows. We know that Vision's quest is coming up next, and that will be the final chapter of this 3-part saga following WandaVision and Agatha. If Mephisto's being teased now, it wouldn't be surprising if he makes an appearance as we head into Vision's quest. This whole trilogy has been about magic, loss, redemption, and bringing in a character like Mephisto would add an entirely new dimension to the story. It could even lead to Wanda's redemption arc, considering her connections to both Agatha and Mephisto in the comics. Why now, though? So why is Marvel now choosing to drop Mephisto's name? My guess is that they don't know how much we're all invested in these theories. During WandaVision, they know that his name is alone enough to generate hype. But I believe it goes beyond just throwing fans a bone. I think they have a plan for Mephisto. Whether it's in the show or on Vision Quest, Agatha giving up her child, the connection to the Darkhold, and Mephisto being mentioned, it's all too deliberate to be a throwaway reference. It has to be that she made a deal with him. What's even more interesting is in the context which this was revealed, Agatha gave up her baby for the Darkhold diary. And that speaks volume about her desperation, her ambition, and the lengths she'll go through for power. If this baby somehow is connected to Mephisto now, it could mean that Agatha has unknowingly set into motion something far more dangerous than she can control. And that's classic Agatha from the comics, dabbling in forces beyond her control, all while trying to maintain the upper hand. So we also need to think about how this plays out into a broader MCU. Marvel has been laying the foundation for supernatural and darker themes. With the multiverse saga unfolding, introducing Mephisto would be perfect way to keep expanding into different realms of storytelling, especially like shows with like Loki, Moon Knight, Agatha, deeper into mysticism, cosmic entities, and the darker corners of Marvel lore. Mephisto would be the next logical step in taking the MCU in that direction. So what's fascinating here is the emotional weight this adds to Agatha's story. If Mephisto is indeed involved, then we're about to see a side of Agatha that's more complex than ever before. She's powerful and cunning, but there's consequences for her actions. Giving up the baby for the dark magic might just come back to haunt her in the worst possible way. The crying baby in the vision really sets a haunting tone for what's to come, and I love it. So if we don't see Mephisto and Agatha all along, there's no way we don't see him in Vision Quest. After all these shows are telling a continuous story, Mephisto's presence could be what ties everything together, and it's the only thing that makes sense. The missing piece that adds the depth to the events that began in WandaVision. Imagine the payoff for the fans. After all the speculation, Mephisto is finally revealed as the puppet master behind all of this chaos. I think Marvel is taking the slow roll approach, and I'm here for it. We don't need all the answers right away, but teasing Mephisto is a great move. It's enough to keep us invested while hinting at a bigger, more impactful reveal than ever. So what do you all think? Is Marvel finally setting up Mephisto for a major role in the MCU, or are they just making a subtle nod to all of us who speculated about him during WandaVision? Personally, I feel like this could be a setup for something epic. Whether it's an Agatha or Vision Quest, the potential for Mephisto's involvement is huge. His name alone is just enough to get us all theorizing again, and so much fun. That's the Marvel magic. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.